All right, guys, here it is. It's all cleaned up now. So we've got a Lamborghini Huracan Performante, and we've got my Camaro ZL1 1LE. Now, as you guys know, if you've been following my channel, I'm going to go ahead and do a really deep dive of the vehicle. I'm going to show you the inside. I'm going to talk about the performance. We're going to take it for a test drive. Got my friend Chris coming over so I could pay full attention to both of these vehicles. Obviously, this car is a 6-speed manual, so I'm definitely going to have to pay attention for that one. This is a paddle shifter. Now, why am I doing a comparison to a $317,000 vehicle compared to a $73,000 vehicle brand new? Here's the reason, guys. Because this car right here has 640 horsepower and 440 roughly pounds of torque. This vehicle has 650 horsepower and 650 pounds of torque. It also has, it's not the ALA package, right, which is all the active aero in this car, and I'm going to go ahead and show you all of that today, or at least a little bit of an overview of how it works. But this car has giant dive planes. It's got a massive carbon fiber wing. It's got all kinds of goodies as far as the suspension brakes, so it's pretty comparable. You can see here, and I'm going to go through the full car, but there's your full carbon fiber wing, and you come over here and you have a full carbon fiber wing, but this is the forged carbon, so it allows Lamborghini to create more complex shapes, which is what I've been told, and that's why they used it. And I think they also they just did it to differentiate it, but at least in this particular version of the vehicle, it is gloss, because frankly when it's not gloss, it actually looks like dirt. First thing my wife said when she saw the vehicle, she's like, "It's dirty." I'm like, "Nope, it's not dirty. It's perfectly clean. I assure you, I just detailed it." Okay, so let's start off with the Lamborghini Huracan Performante. Before we get into the inside, I'm gonna just go through a couple of details. These are your carbon ceramic brakes, obviously massive brakes, Pirelli P0 tires, very, very, very low profile. These are fairly new tires. Car's got about 5,000 miles on it, so it's actually probably a more high mileage Lamborghini than you're gonna find, especially for the model year, which is fairly new. Styling wise, flippin' love it. It's gorgeous. There's no denying every angle of this vehicle is just radically cool. The way the lights are, these LED lights, they light up. You've got your exposed carbon fiber splitter down here. You got all kinds of aerodynamic bits going on. You can see this line right here, really sexy looking. It just doesn't have a bad angle. This is arguably probably one of the nicest looking vehicles man's ever created, in my personal opinion. And it sounds insane. And, the take or leave it part, I guess, would be, the Italian flag colors. I personally dig it. My last name is Ferragalli. I'm Italian, so this is all me every day, all day. But you can take or leave it. From the back, you can see here that you have incredible detailing in the diffuser, and the way the exhaust pipes come right through the back is totally sexy. Very 720 McLaren-ish. You can see the pipes are exposed right through here, and of course you come up here and you get the V10. This engine is naturally aspirated. There are no turbochargers, so sound-wise, it's probably about as good as it's going to get. V10, when you think about collectability, when you think about cars are going electric nowadays, this car right here with a very exotic power plant, these are the vehicles I think are going to appreciate. I think your standard performance cars with your V6s and your V8s, which are pretty common, I don't think they're going to do that well. So let's fire it up. So in order to do that, similar to the Lamborghini Urus I reviewed last video, put you right here, push it, and it fires right up. Now it's loud. I'm gonna go ahead and reduce this a smidge. It's loud, really already in just strata mode. Now check this out, right? I'm gonna open the door and I'm gonna put it in Corsa mode just so you can hear how redonkulous this thing sounds. You ready for this? 1, 2. Changes the screen. Do you hear that? Oh my God, that might be the greatest sounding engine I've ever heard. It's definitely up there. Wow, totally flipping insane. All right, now let me show you some other details of this car. I'm gonna have to turn this thing off because let's be honest, it's so flipping loud. You can see here 5,900 miles. I mean, that is a pretty old, or well, not old, but high mileage, frankly, for this type of vehicle. I do like the spec. This is a $317,000 spec, so you get the Lamborghini headrest, you get the color contrast stitching, you get the red, the Rosso Red interior, matches to the exterior, got the exposed carbon fiber on the inside, you got the piano black. This is really sexy. Steering wheel is absolutely phenomenal. It's got the suede stitching. I think that's a different, you can go with leather, I believe. This is a couple of features of the vehicle. Number one thing here, you can raise the vehicle right here. Now, in order to raise the car, you have to put it on and you have to have the door shut. So, and it does raise it about 2 inches. It'll give you enough to clear most driveways. And I actually had to put it up for my driveway. This thing is extremely low. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on just so you can see. Look, I got to be honest with you. The Audi, Lamborghini partnership, like, here's a dead giveaway. I don't think a lot of people would know this, but I do. This is an A8 key. I know this because my wife and I had a Audi A8 for a good couple of years. One of the best cars we ever had, one of the best interiors we ever had. And this is exactly the same key. Although it does say Lamborghini on it, it literally is the A8 key. So there's a ton of DNA in this vehicle from Audi. And I can tell you that it just comes through even in this car, which is the top spec version. In the Urus, it's very, very obvious, but all the buttons are Audi. A lot of these little features, a lot of these little knobs here, the way they feel, the little color here, all that's very similar. You can see as you adjust it, it changes the screen here. But in the end of the day, it's a very small car. You can see here, this is all you have for your elbow. So you have this, which is, I guess, your only storage option. None of this opens. So this is a hardcore, go fucking fast, right? Performance car. I mean, yeah, you could put your elbow here and that's about it. In order to put it in reverse, you pull this back. Manual mode here, you got your paddle shifters. In order to go into go mode, and we'll drive it later, you have to click here and that'll put it in first. You have your controls here. You have a nice, I think this is lit up too as well, the Huracan side sill. You have the exposed carbon here in the door. Very, very cool looking. I like that a lot. And then you also have, and this is kind of fun, this particular vehicle has the ashtray. So that fits in right down here, okay? And right there. And, it just gives you the ability to, smoke. I don't recommend you do that, but there it is. Yeah, you've got your, I guess there's a cigarette lighter around here somewhere, but God knows I don't know where it is. You do get the battery, the temp oil, so you got a couple of things you can adjust there. I will say it's tight in here. It's really snug. Like, I am literally, this is about 4 inches from my head, and I had to put the seat way back. This is about an inch over my head. So if you want to sit up in this vehicle, you're going to have to be like, 5'8" or under. I've got the seat almost all the way back, and I mean, it's comfortable. Thank God he went with these seats, because these are still sporty enough, but they're actually livable. I think they make another carbon seat for this car. It's like sitting on literally a sheet of metal. It's just ridiculous. It looks cool and it's light and all that, but anyway, let's get my fat ass out of that thing. It's not easy. It's very, very low. So yes, I love it. I love the interior. I love the exterior. Now, let's go take a look at what America can do. So this right here is the ZL1 1LE. Now, from the exterior, it's got a lot of cool shit going on too, right? I mean, they've done everything aerodynamic-wise in this car. They left this open, okay? You have all these side vents. I believe there are 10 heat exchangers in the front of this vehicle to keep the engine cool. You got a carbon fiber hood. You got a matte black finish. The wheels are sick, 19 inches. This is a difference. This is a steel brake, which, frankly, I don't know if you're going to notice the difference between this or carbon ceramics, except you might have to replace the rotors or brake pads more often. But I don't know, guys. I mean, this thing stops on a dime. It also doesn't really require a warm-up. When I first got on the brakes a few times on this car, just getting it over here, I could definitely tell they were carbon ceramics. Okay, I love the back. One of the sexiest backs. Check out these lights. These are smoked out lights. They come with the 1LE package. You get dual tips on both sides. Flipping gorgeous, right? Got this sexy ass looking back with the wing. I mean, this is a good looking car. And frankly, when I drive this car, people definitely comment on it. You know, I'll pull into a parking lot and they'll come over to me and say, that's a radical car, you know, what is that, etc. So yes, it does have that je ne sais quoi. Now, is it this? No, it's not this. I'm not going to front, all right? I mean, but that's $317,000. So let's keep it in perspective here. Now, this car also has about the same amount of miles. So let's go ahead and fire it up. Well, I mean, it sounds pretty flipping good. I mean, that right there is in sport mode. So to the Lamborghini, you do have track mode. I'm gonna give this thing about 15 more seconds to warm up. All right, guys, sorry, my Bluetooth kicked in, so I had to turn it off. But here we go. I mean, the inside of this vehicle, you know, for 70 grand, I mean, look, you get a carbon fiber here, you get killer seats. I actually think these seats are more comfortable than Lamborghini just because they're a little bit bigger, more made for us Americans. You know, we're a little bit more chubbier. You do actually have a back seat here. I get more room up here. I get more room here. I got a good 6 inches now, so it is a physically bigger car. I love the interior though of this vehicle. Even to this day, it's still really, really cool. You know, I love the way they design these vents. These are actually real vents and you can adjust them and everything. It's just a totally cool design feature. You actually get cup holders, you actually get storage, so much more practical. Let me go ahead and give you a listen on this thing, right? Just so you can see. Are you ready for this? Yeah, it sounds insane. This is a supercharged V8, okay? This thing puts out a ton of power, and it really, really puts it down. The LT4, which is the same motor, same power plant that's in the C7 Corvette, as you guys know, well, I should say the Z06 version of that vehicle. This does have the side sills here. They light up as well. So really, this is a very comparable car. You do get a little bit more as far as practicality. I'll show you the trunk, you know, just in case you care. Can you get golf clubs in this? No, I don't believe you can. It's not quite wide enough, but you can take your clubs out of the bag and put them in here, and then you can put your bag in the back. So yes, I've actually been able to golf in this car, but what I do is I open this, pull the seat forward, and then I kind of stick them back there, and that'll work pretty well. You know, I do like a couple of details in this vehicle. You do have the suede here. It's just nice. The color contrast stitching, this is a really cool design feature. This is a LED you can actually change. I'll show you that when we drive it. So yeah, it's a flipping nice vehicle. It's got a sense of occasion to it. Similar to the Lamborghini, but you know, different and unique in its own way because it obviously is extremely American made. I got to show you the LT4 here. So one-handed, see if I can do this like a champ. There we go. Man, I'm getting good. Okay, here it is. You know, I gotta say, every time I look at this thing, it does it for me. It gets me going. I mean, they've been working on this engine for decades. The LT4, it's really a thing of beauty. It sounds amazing. It's got tons of power, tons of torque. It likes to run out, but at the same time, you get tons of low-end grunt. Sounds insane. I mean, it's really a good engine. Now, is it better than this? Look, this has less power and less torque, but it's a V10, right? It's got even better sound effects. You know, it's got the exposed carbon bay. I mean, it's sick, all right? I'm not gonna lie to you. But is it worth 5-6 times the price? I don't know. I'm not there yet. I'm gonna let you guys decide. But yeah, this is the reason why I wanted to compare these cars, because the more that I look at this and then the more that I look at this, they really are in a category very close. Hey, so if you're curious how much trunk space you get with this particular car, not much. This is actually where you would change your tire, and I think it's really interesting they gave you Lamborghini gloves and they're white. So good luck not getting those completely messed up. This is your car charger, this is your car cover, and I'm sure there's some other tools in here. But yeah, there is not much space in here. You're maybe gonna get a backpack. You could probably put a full iPad, maybe a couple of laptops in there. It's not a lot of space. So you're not taking this car to Costco, that's for sure. But yeah, it still gives you a little bit of space, you know, for like, I don't know, a weekend trip. If you've got really small luggage and you don't mind going Spartan. Yeah, It's possible, but it's still cool. It's nice that you have it, right? All right, we're just getting out of my driveway here. Now, one thing you don't have to worry about as much in this particular vehicle is the front splitter is not as low as that, because this does not have a lift kit. So it is one thing to note. I haven't scraped it, but maybe once or twice. So, you know, in the end of the day, this is a lot more livable on the street. Now, if you guys have watched any of my previous videos on the Camaro, the stock tires that come with this car are complete shit. They're really only made for the track. So you're going to need to get, I have the Pilot Sport 4S tires on this vehicle, which are Michelin's. They're not cheap. I think they cost about $1,700 before installation. So, you know, but in the end of the day, they give you the ability to drive in the rain. They give you the ability to drive in slightly cooler temperatures. It is still a summer tire, but I assure you that it will not crack. I've driven it as low as 25 degrees and didn't have any issues. Now, one thing about this car that I absolutely love is you click this little switch right here, and that puts active rev match on. So it makes it so much easier to drive. I love that feature because this is a very, very, very powerful engine, right? 650 pounds of torque. If you fuck that up, it'll lock the wheels up real quick and could completely cause the vehicle to lose control. With active rev match, unbelievably easy to drive, and you can really charge it. You can really go into turns and really have a good friggin' time. Now, one thing I want to show you about this vehicle real quick is if you hit settings, you're not going to see it very much in the day, but this does give you the ability. Actually, it's this one right here. So let me go ahead and show you a couple of things. One is PDR. You can record your actual laps, and it'll give you finish lines. I don't know why it says no SD card. I actually have an SD card in there, so I've got to take that to the dealership and figure out what the heck's going on. Maybe I don't have the right format. Maybe it's too big. I'm not really sure. But the other thing I want to share with you is ambient lighting. So this right here will allow you to change the side to red. Now, you're not going to see it very much in the day, but at nighttime it lights up really, really well. And it's here, and it's all through around here. So it really gives this interior, I would call it a sense of occasion. It's just really cool. All right, we're getting out of my neighborhood here. Could finally start to have a little bit of fun. Well, I'm going to keep traction control on today, for sure. I oftentimes won't drive this car with traction control just because it can be a little intrusive. But today is wet, so definitely going to keep it on, so that way I don't kill myself and Chris. So yes, you get pops, you get dings, you get backfires when you take your foot off the gas. You know, the tires are still cool, so we're going to take it easy for a little bit. But this car, I mean, you saw the lap times on Nuremberg. It's not that much slower than the Lamborghini Performante. Is it slower? Absolutely. But is it night and day different? No, it's not. I mean, they're both extremely fast, extremely capable vehicles. And you know, I'll let you guys make the determination in if the Lamborghini is worth 4.5 more than that. Don't get me wrong, if money's no object, I'm taking the Lamborghini Performante all day, every day, twice on Sundays. So that's not even up for debate. But considering that pretty much I would consider most people can buy this vehicle, yeah, this makes a lot more sense. All right, let's have a little bit of fun now that guy's out of my way. So we are in the country right now. I just want to point that out. You know, we're not in the middle of downtown Nashville. I live way on the outskirts of town, and we're about to go down a couple of roads that I consider to be very desolate. We're probably only going to pass one, maybe two cars the entire time. So, you know, I don't endorse speeding, but in the end of the day, I do feel like I live in an area of the country where I can do a little bit more than I normally would. I just want to note that, okay? I mean, I don't endorse speeding, but you do have these cars. They're very, very fast, and we got to figure out, you know, there's not a racetrack in Nashville, so we got to take them somewhere, right? All right, here's the road. You can see I'm doing the active rev matching. It makes it super easy to drive. All right, let's see if we get some traction. Yeah, see, the road is still really, really wet. I got to watch it. So So there you go. I mean, that right there, you're going 10 miles over the speed limit, barely giving it any fuel, right? So that's the, now I will say this about the ZL1 suspension, right? It's the Multimatic is the company that produces it. It's the Multimatic DSSV spool valve suspension. It's very, very harsh, guys. You know, even though you put new tires on it, this vehicle is gonna beat you up. It's gonna beat you up real good. So if you're not on a track, just keep that in mind. I did not have the ability to test drive this vehicle at the dealership because it was a 6-speed. They just wouldn't allow it. So I literally had to pretty much purchase the vehicle before I got to test drive it. And then I took like this 2-minute test drive, and I was like, all right, you know, it was of course incredible. It felt amazing. It sounded great, but the road was perfectly still. So I didn't get to experience how rough this suspension actually is. So this road right here is complete dog shit. They're building all this. This is a whole new community they're building. And I mean, yeah, I'm feeling every little blip and every little bump and every little road, you know, work they've done. So that's just something to know. You know, this is a very much performance-oriented car, as is the Lamborghini. I would actually say this one, we're gonna put the Lamborghini to the test today, but I would say this one is probably gonna be a little harsher. I might take that back. But this car is about the most visceral, you know, performance car I've ever driven, and I've driven a lot of vehicles. I mean, this car makes the makes the Viper, as far as the suspension, feel like a land yacht. I mean, really, this thing is just. I think Jeremy Clarkson said it best, right? If you ran over a squirrel, you could tell what it had for breakfast. Okay, I mean, that's the kind of feedback that it will give you through the steering wheel, through the seat. You can see Chris is jumping up and down over here, and this road, of course, is very dirty and very terrible. But anyway, I'm going to jump off here, and then we're going to pick it up here in just a little bit. There's going to be a couple of straightaways coming up, and we're almost at the road that I want to really demonstrate this car on, and we'll check back in a few minutes. All right, guys, we are now officially at my favorite road. I call this my Nuremberg. It's very much in the middle of nowhere. It took us a good few minutes to get out here, but it's one of my favorite roads. And, you know, we're still going to be a little respectful, and it is absolutely still wet. So, you know, we're just going to have a good time. But at the end of the day, I love this car. For the amount of money it costs, for the amount of performance and value you get, I mean, you get insane brakes, you get insane suspension, you get an LT4 engine that is just ridiculously fast. I mean, watch this. I can't even give it full throttle. I literally am half throttle. I'm literally half throttle because it's so wet that I can't even give it all the beans because it'll smoke it. it'll break traction, and the you know, literally the traction control will kick in. But every time I drive this car, I just get this shit-eating grin. I mean, the sound is so visceral. The suspension, everything about it is just, oh, it's on point, guys. It really, really is. If you're a fan of American cars, right? If you're a fan of V8s, if you're a fan of just, oh, go fucking fast, have a good time, this car is it. I'm telling you. Like, yeah, it's not a V10, but it's got it where it counts because it's got the torque. And if you want to, like that truck's maybe pulling out, I could easily hit the brakes. I could have stopped it on a dime, okay? All right, now this area right here, the road, is what I call the run out spot. So we're gonna do one fun little 4th gear pull, okay? 4th gear pull now. We'll see what she does. All right, now I think I can get eventually to full throttle, so let's find out, all right? All right, there it is, full throttle is about right there. That's 100 and a lot. I'm not going to tell you how much, okay? But at the end of the day, 4th gear in this car is an extremely usable gear. But like I said, when it's wet like this, I mean, you just cannot give it the beans. It's just got too much torque. I think I was able to get to full throttle right around the end of the, I think it was about 5,000 RPMs. I was able to finally give it. But yeah, it's just insane amount of performance, an incredible value. This car is an incredible value for what you get for $73,000. I frankly, I bought it because of that. I thought, I was like, they're gonna sell this. I mean, okay, look, it's a Camaro. I get it, all right? It's not a freaking exotic Lamborghini. But when you compare the actual on paper data, right? This is 3,800 pounds, produces 300 pounds of downforce. Okay, the Lamborghini is 3,000 pounds, right? It's really light, but this has more power. It has virtually the same amount of stopping power. Looks, you know, it's not a Lamborghini, but I think it looks really, really cool. So yeah, I really think that the value proposition is all day, every day in this court. But in the end of the day, it is a Camaro. You know, I understand. You know, it's not even a Corvette, right? I mean, it's the notch down from that. But if you're like me and you're a driver and you really appreciate it and you actually drive these vehicles like they're meant to be driven, I don't think you can get much better than this. And one thing I don't think the Lamborghini has, at least I didn't notice it, it doesn't have a heads-up display. Now this particular one, since I have it in track mode, this will go ahead and tell you your G-forces, it'll tell you your speed, and that is a really, really cool feature. Yeah, I think you can catch it, Chris. There you go. See that, guys? So that's a nice little feature because the G-force meter is a lot of fun, right? When you're coming around turns and whipping it and stuff, it's just cool to know that you're putting 0.65, you know, 0.45, whatever it may be that you're putting down. All right, guys, so this is the Camaro overview. Now we're gonna go ahead and ride the Lamborghini Huracan Performante, and we'll see if my shit-eating grin gets a little bit bigger. All right, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. So Chris is actually, have you driven this car before?
Once briefly.
Once briefly, he says. So we got a good 8 miles here where he gets to have some fun. We'll see how he does with a manual gearbox. Hey, watch it, it's still wet.
I know.
All right, here it is. Look at that, he's got the smile going on. I'm gonna let him do the talking from here.
Man, you can just feel the road. Holy shit.
I know, it's ridiculous, right?
Look at how the
oh
shit
yeah,
just shakes around.
oh yeah, this thing is moving.
This thing is alive, man.
Like, I love the paddle shifters, right? I mean, you can go a lot faster, no doubt about it, but there's something about a manual gearbox, right?
Absolutely. Damn. It feels like driving a fighter jet.
It looks like it too with the cockpit.
Yeah.
The cockpit on this car is insane.
The HUD is dope. Man, that exhaust.
The torque as a passenger. You know, every time you hit it, I mean, my neck snaps back because I'm not expecting it.
Yes. Good luck holding the camera steady.
Oh, right. I'll tell you what.
That is so hard.
Yeah, I'm going to rely on the iPhone here to do its job. So, yeah. What do you think? I mean, it's good, right? I mean,
this car is ridiculous. I can't think of a better value proposition. This is exotic car territory.
Whoa. She broke on that one.
I know, I felt that.
Oh boy. Yeah, the traction control is very, very good in this car. It'll let you put the power down and it won't just cut it. But yeah, you feel it. It
lets you know it's there.
Yeah, and look at even though we've been driving it now, the tires are still cool. And that just goes to show you when the technology of this vehicle. I mean, even though we've been running it out and having some good times, like cold day like this with the wetness, tires don't warm up.
Left, correct?
Right here.
Right.
Yep, and then left, the very first left you can make. All right, guys, we'll check in, but yeah, what do you think? He likes it. He digs it.
I have to say, this is probably the fastest car I personally have ever driven. It is something else. Other than a Tesla, I've driven the P100D, Model S and Model X, and the Model 3 as well. And yeah, those cars are electric, but it just doesn't feel anywhere near as fast as this one is. There's just something else about this dinosaur juice powered fire breathing dragon.
Dinosaur juice.
Nothing else like
I know, right? It's so visceral.
Holy cow.
I mean, my P100D is faster than this, right? But
listen.
oh, jeez.
Yeah. You just can't replace that.
Man, it's so different being a passenger in it. I mean, it's like I've never been a passenger in this car. Like it's tripping me out.
It's something else. I mean, if you're not in control and you're experiencing all the forces that the driver is putting down, oh my God. Oof.
Yeah, I know.
This is an awesome car.
I know.
I can see myself buying one of these.
Yeah. Well, you can because they're not that expensive.
I know.
I mean,
actually, seriously,
now they're starting to
seriously considering it face.
I know, right? They're like literally $55,000 right now.
And coming down too.
And coming down. You'll be able to pick one of these up probably 45, 50 grand in a year.
Yeah, that's probably when I would buy one too.
What a steal, right? There's so much car for that.
Nothing else like it.
No, nothing even comes close for 45 grand. You'd have to buy something and put 30 grand into it to get it to this level.
Yeah, and it would still kind of suck.
Yeah, it would still, and this just is what it is, right? It's its own package.
This is a race car.
It's a race car for the street. Damn right.
Seeing that spoiler in the rear view mirror as well, man.
Isn't that cool?
It's.
All right. Well, I think Chris likes it. Chris approves. Woo. Let's go check out the Lamborghini. Should we get in it? Oh, it's hot. So hot. Oh. Now, I'm a really big guy, so. Ugh. Now that is after I have adjusted the seat all the way back. And I think the steering wheel actually could probably go up just a smidge for me. So I can get, there we go. So I can kind of do this. But yeah. Smell the dinosaur bones burning now. Man. All right, let's go figure out what the heck this thing is gonna do. You might have to put your belt on. All right, so this does have a dual clutch. What that means is it will not go anywhere until you give it some fuel. I believe it has a 7-speed. I'm gonna put that one to the test today, but I'm pretty sure it is a 7-speed. First impressions, it has these on the, oh my God, it scraped on that. That's insane. Now, one thing to note, I'm gonna have to put this on. So we're gonna have to lift this thing up. So I think you have to put it in park. And then this, you hold this down. There we go. So I can see the front end is now lifting up. Now, there is actually, I asked the owner, I said, hey man, it's gonna scrape a little bit. He's like, don't worry about it. There's like a plastic piece on the bottom that essentially prevents the carbon splitter from being hit. So that is one note. So you're not actually damaging the vehicle. All right, so now I gotta put it back in park and we gotta go ahead and do this. And now it lowers. Yeah, it's not as fast as the GT2 RS, but it'll get the job done. It might do it when you're driving, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably better just to do it in park, just to confirm it's down, right? Oh, you want me to see? So he wants to watch me, of course. So, we got it in automatic mode right now. I'm just gonna get out of my neighborhood, okay? Very, very easy car to drive in automatic mode. When you're in Strata mode, you can see it's in 7th gear, okay? Doing 26 miles an hour. That's kind of bananas, in my opinion. It's very interesting they tuned it like that, but they did. So you can do 30 miles an hour and be in 7th gear, right? So we're gonna let the engine warm up a bit. It's currently, you can see here, it looks like 130 is the temperature. That's gonna be on the high end, so we're gonna give it some time. We're gonna be respectful of the V10. This is not my Tesla, right? It's got to warm up a bit before she decides to give us max performance and power. It sounds really good. It really does. I mean, you can tell it's a mid-engine car, right? The engine is right behind you. It's maybe a foot and a half behind you, so you feel it, you hear it. It's very visceral. This is, of course, in just Strata mode. As soon as we get out of my neighborhood, I don't want to drive my neighbors crazy. Then we'll go ahead and put it in Corsa mode, and we'll go ahead and manually shift it. Pretty much drive it like you would drive it. But just, it's really cool to note though that you can drive this car normally, okay? I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you can actually, you know, 6-speed, 30 miles an hour. You know, that's kind of nice. You don't always have to be in, I want to go super fast. You always have to be manually shifting like the ZL1. You know, this is something you could just take it to the market if you wanted. Granted, you wouldn't be able to get many groceries. You have a little tiny front trunk, and that's it. And frankly, he's got so much crap in the front trunk. So this does have creep mode, just so you know. So when you take your foot off, it does go forward, which is interesting. The Lamborghini Urus did not do that. All right, now we're pretty much out of the neighborhood. I'm gonna go ahead and be able to change the modes. All right, so this is sport mode. Oh my God, it sounds so much better. Wow, that really changes it. That really changes it. Wow, this thing now feels like a completely different car. Okay, so it's still shifting for me. It's pretty comfortable, pretty good. Wow, this is a real driver's car. Jesus. Wow, this thing is tight. This is the definition of riding on rails, okay? This thing, I mean, you go like this, you go like that, there's no give at all. Now let's try Corsa mode here just to see if it even gets crazier. Now I believe I have to manually shift it, but I might not. I'm not sure about that. You know, it's got 440 something pounds of torque. It's not quite as fast as a ZL1 when you give it the beans. So like right here, I mean, it's fast, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't have that instant go, right? It's got to build a little bit. So this car is very tuned to the higher horsepower. Oh yeah, now we're manual mode, all right. Okay, let's see, golly. The way this thing, I mean, it is just on rails, guys. Wow, just unbelievable. I mean, I thought the ZL1 was good, but this is a whole nother level. You know, it shifts really smooth, I gotta say. You know, it's not jerky. I've driven some old Lamborghinis that every time you hit the gear, it kind of forces you forward. This is great. I mean, you shift it down, it's not painful at all. You shift it up, it's fairly smooth. I mean, they really did a great amount of tuning in this car. I mean, this is just on point. Just initial impressions. Very good job, Lamborghini. All right, you guys are killing it right now. God, it's just so tight. It's insane. It's just, you feel, I mean, man, what a driver's car. I'm still not convinced it's worth 4.5 times the money, but it's getting there. I don't know, give me a couple more minutes, I might tell you I'm putting an order for one. This is really crazy. It's just so good. And you know what? It's actually not beating me up that bad. I actually think this is more comfortable than the Camaro suspension, even in Corsa mode. It's livable. I mean, this is about as a shitty road as it's gonna get. I mean, this is very livable. Yeah, God. Oh my Lord. You know, guys, in 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when like 90% of the cars are electric, I mean, this is going to be something that we're going to look back on and be, you know, totally crazy, ostentatious, but at the same time, it had its place in time. And I think these things are going to be worth a fortune. I really do. I mean, they're gonna appreciate like they have been a little bit, but I think at some point they're just gonna bottom and stay there. And then I think they're gonna be collectible. I mean, it's just so good. There's just nothing that an electric vehicle is gonna give you like this, right? This is that, oh God, it's just that visceral, fuck you, man. You know, I wanna go fucking fast. It's fun. And that's what it should be. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, that's it. That's the raw driving experience. And this gives it to you. So we're gonna turn off this clip now. This road's crap. We're gonna slow down, and then when we get to my Nuremberg road, we'll pick it back up, and we'll do a couple of runouts, and we'll give you our final impressions, guys. All right, we have reached the point where it's my road. So I'm gonna still be a little respectful to the owner. You know, we're not gonna go ahead and smoke the tires or anything like that. But he said, "Hey, it's a Lamborghini, drive it." So we're gonna do that. All right. Still wet, so we're gonna take it easy. God, it's so good, Chris. This is just—it's so good. Jesus, it's good. I mean, really, really good, guys. I mean, this is a whole nother car. I gotta say, I gotta give it to Lamborghini. They nailed it with this thing. Oh, the shifts are just on point. I mean, I'm trying to even like cause an issue right there by, you know, letting off. It's got some nice, you know, downshifts, nice pops when you take your foot off. You know, it drives like a naturally aspirated vehicle. You know, you got to kind of build the power. It's very linear. There's no turbo spool. So yeah, it's just phenomenal. I mean, this is it. This is the ultimate driver's car, guys. I think I got to get one. It's gonna have to happen. Yeah, I think I just made my mind. I'm buying one. Oh my God, even just the 5th gear roll-on, it's just unbelievable. It's so good. How the hell do they do it? So good. All right, we're coming up here in a little bit. We're gonna be able to do our run out. Oh my God, it's so good. Jeez. Oh, we got some bicyclists. We're gonna be respectful. Go ahead and slow down. These guys are taking the entire road, of course. I don't know what it is about bicyclists. I mean, do they even understand that, like, well, I can't see, guys, so I'm gonna have to go real slow. Oh, it's a good thing we didn't go, huh? Jesus. Okay, I guess we're gonna pass him now. I mean, I don't want to be too much of a dick, but Jesus. Woo! I mean, I'm not even really giving it the beans, guys. I mean, that's like maybe 60-70% throttle. This thing is fast. Real fast. That ALA aerodynamic technology, that stuff works. I mean, it really works. Woo, man, it's good. It is really, really, really good. Oh my God, the sound. Oh. All right, that's golly. You know what? This is a great car. This is it. I mean, if you want a supercar, okay, you don't want a grand touring car. And this car is not uncomfortable, but it's not comfortable either. It's not a Bentley GT Super Sport. It's not an Aston Martin Vanquish. You know, it's very comparable to a Ferrari 458. You know, or 488, except naturally aspirated. So more of a 458. Yeah, but this is this is a lot of fun. This is a really, really raw, very visceral, very fun driver's car, and it's not cheap, but you get a lot for your money. in the experience factor, I think this is about as good as it's going to get, honestly. This may be, frankly, as good as it ever gets, because now we're going electric. So this may be, you know, possibly one of those vehicles that always takes this place in time, and this was the apex, right? This was as good as it ever got. Lamborghini V10, you know, go fast goodies. This has got it all. This is the apex of the horsepower wars. I mean, it's the fastest car in the world, one of them, you know, around the Nuremberg track. So you got to give it to them. And then if you want to fucking have a good baby opportunity, go ahead and put it in Strata mode. It's in 7th gear, and it's quiet. It's quiet. This lightens up. It's easy to drive. So you can absolutely take this, you know, to take you and your wife out, have a nice date night, and not beat her up, okay? So this has got a lot of stuff going for it. It's not just a raw car. And we did find out that you do have a cup holder. So, only one. And even though that this is really, really small, it's not bothering me. You know, like, I can put my, you know, my elbow down here. I don't have a problem at all. So yeah, it's definitely got it where it counts, and I'm impressed. I love the exposed carbon in here, the piano black. Steering wheel feels phenomenal. You know, the suede. It just feels high quality. You know, it's got that Audi level interior level quality and finish now, and I mean, Lamborghini's got it going on, guys. I really think that this is probably one of the best vehicles for the money in this category of exotic, right? I mean, you tell me what comes close. Yes, I think the Camaro, dollar for dollar, is a better value and a better car, but it's just, this is a whole nother thing. You know, this is a whole nother experience factor, and I gotta give kudos to Lamborghini. It's impressive. It really, really is impressive. It's very, very good. So we're gonna stop here, and I'm gonna let Chris have a go at it, and we'll get his thoughts, and then we'll wrap up. But yeah, this has been a fun video. Appreciate you guys watching. Looking forward to your comments. All right, I'm gonna let Chris give you his overview now. It's the first time he's ever driven one.
This is the first Lamborghini I have ever driven.
First Lamborghini you've ever driven, all right.
Damn. Feels different in the driver's seat, I have to say.
Tight, isn't it?
Feels like it's on, like, train tracks.
I know.
I know people say rails, but I'm going to go a step further and say train tracks.
It's just so tight. It's insane.
It's like telepathic.
Telepathic, exactly.
It's like, it's not, it doesn't feel digital. It feels biological.
Biological.
Wow. Dude. This is very different from the, it's different from the Camaro. And it's hard to describe. It's a lot smoother. It feels like it's more refined. Of course, I'm in Strata mode right now, so I would hope so.
Yeah, but pop it into Corsa. That completely changes this car. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Whoa, the dash changes in a big way.
Yeah, the dash changes, the sound, the throttle response. Take it right.
All right.
It's just a completely different car.
Where's the turn stock on this?
I couldn't find it. I mean, I think it's on the steering wheel. There it is. Yeah.
I mean, even that's an interesting experience.
Yeah, and the windshield wipers are on the right side, right here. It's still pretty smooth, I gotta say, but you'll see that it still bangs gears pretty good.
Let's, as Adam says, give it the beams.
Oh my God!
It feels like it's doing it with me. Like I'm not driving it. Like we are driving.
Right. We are one.
Yeah. I've never felt that from a car.
I know, it's such a driver's car.
PJ from Secret Academy described this as the ultimate driver's car. And I know what he's talking about now. It's like we are driving, not I am driving. We being me in the car. Holy cow.
Oh, so good. So good. Well,
now I'm gonna tame it down.
You gotta tame it down, tame the beast, tame that bull.
Yep.
I like how when you put it in Corsa mode, it actually changes from Corsa, and then now you can actually see your temperature and battery and all that shit. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
It's a little warm in here, huh?
It is.
Turn it down on 68. It's that engine, man. You're feeling that engine right now. That engine's warmed up. All right.
Magnets to the road.
Magnets to the road. I love it. It's a good line. All right, we'll check back in here. We'll get to the end of this road and get his final thoughts.
So cars like this are why I left corporate America to become a business owner, so that one day I could buy one of my own. And I have to say, driving this it drives a point home that it's going to be worth all of those longer hours, working some weekend days. Man, it's going to be worth it to be able to drive one of these. Damn.
So fast. Okay.
This is an experience.
Well, we really appreciate the owner letting us experience
Thank you.
his ride, and he's got great taste in cars, and
Absolutely.
he's a business owner himself. He does very well, and he's earned it. But yeah, it's a sick car, guys. We appreciate you watching. I might do one more video after this, I'm not sure, but if not, go out and drive one, and if you can afford it, we're all about thumbs up on it. It's great.
All day long. 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10. Yeah, there you go. All right, guys, so this is going to be the official wrap up here, and I am absolutely in love with this car as a driver's car. This is as good as it gets. I truly do believe that. Now, for the value proposition between this and the Camaro, I'll leave that up to you guys in the comments. Is it worth spending 4.5 times more to get this vehicle? I don't know. Now, I will say it's got some really trick aerodynamics. I know earlier I said I would explain the ALA technology, which is essentially what gives this car its incredible performance. So air gets sucked through here, gets pushed through these vents, and then there's a flap in here that will open and close and actually send air through the wing, which is a bunch of holes in the wing here in the exposed carbon fiber. Which is insane. I mean, that right there allows you to take off the force of the wing pushing down by blowing air up. So when you're going really fast, this vehicle allows you to essentially get that top end speed while also benefiting from the cornering performance. That's a really trick feature. There's also nothing about the V10, that you're going to get in any kind of a future electric vehicle. The heat coming off this thing is incredible. You put your hand right here now that it's all warmed up. I mean, you could feel the exhaust. Literally, you could see it. It's right there. Yeah, so that thing makes a lot of it, fucking heat. I mean, you feel it in the car. We had to turn the air conditioning on, even though it's 50 degrees today. It's insane. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It has a sense of occasion to it. It really is a beautiful, beautiful car. I am very much impressed. I really am. I gotta say, even though it's expensive, even though it's it's very, very exotic and very high insurance and very tough to get, it's almost worth it. I mean, I really think that this car, they nailed it. I mean, look at it. There's nothing. Driving this vehicle, I was expecting it to be really uncomfortable. It wasn't. The suspension didn't beat me up that much. I was expecting the transmission to be really jerky. It really wasn't that bad. It was good. So yeah, I was expecting this vehicle to frankly be more harsh than it actually was. So you get your cake and you get to eat it too. I mean, you get a super, super fast exotic car but you can also take it, you know, to a date night with the wife. I mean, that's really tough to do in a package. I mean, that's really something. Hey, you can even see, I don't know if you guys can see the heat coming off the engine right there. That's really cool. But yeah, it's special, guys. This is a special car. I love the Camaro. I don't regret my purchase at all. You know, for, like I said, $70,000. That's a ton of car for the money, but I don't think the owner of this vehicle is going to regret his purchase either. It is just flipping good. So really appreciate you guys checking out my videos. Please subscribe. You know, this channel is a hobby. It's a passion project. I'm a huge car guy. I've always been a car guy. I was a little guy, you know, when I was a kid playing with Matchbox cars and, you know, you name it. So this is just a big passion of mine, and I really appreciate it. Please comment and subscribe. I'll do my best with answering your questions. But yes, here it is. I'd say this is probably the hottest driver's car out there right now. I mean, we're in early 2020 here, just to give it a timestamp. But this is it. I mean, this is the apex. This is the apex predator right here, guys. This is it. And boy, is it good looking. All right, subscribe. We'll see you around the channel, guys.